Your Worship, distinguished guests, honorary fellows, award holders, staff of the university, ladies and gentlemen. As Pro-Chancellor and Chair of the University Board, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the University of Central Lancashire and to this award ceremony. To those of you who have come long distances to be with us today, welcome to Lancashire and to the Guildhall here in Preston. Today we have award holders from the School of Health and the School of Medicine and Dentistry. And we are gathered to honour and congratulate them on their success. On behalf of all of us here today, I want to say to each and every award holder, well done. Well done for all your hard work and well done for successfully completing your course. You should be justly proud of your achievements, and the university and all of us here today are very proud of you. Although today is a special day for the award holders, it is also an important day for two other groups of people. First, I want to offer congratulations to all the parents, spouses, relatives, partners and friends, and in some cases the children of the award holders. In so many ways, you have supported the award holders over the years, and without you, they could not have succeeded. So today is your day as well. Thank you for the splendid support you have given to the students, and I think you all deserve a round of applause from the students. The second group I want to congratulate is the staff of the university. The professionalism, dedication and commitment of all the staff are second to none. And it is right that on behalf of all of us, I thank the staff publicly for all the work with and for the students. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Jerry Kelleher, to give his address.
Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduands. I'm delighted to add my welcome to that of the Pro-Chancellor to today's ceremony. I'm pleased that so many of you have been able to come, and I hope you enjoy both the ceremony itself and the celebrations which I know will go on afterwards with your families and friends. I'd like to start by just saying a little bit about developments in the two schools whose graduates were graduating today. In the School of Health, students undertaking courses in nursing, midwifery, paramedic practice, sexual health, public health and social care undertook international practice placements in a range of venues, including Nepal, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Ghana, Canada, Australia, the Falkland Islands, Poland and Zambia. The National Institute of Health awarded £9 million to researchers in the School of Health who will coordinate teams of researchers working collaboratively with the NHS partner organisations to support the development of innovative quality services that reduce health inequalities and improve health outcomes, to make a difference to delivery of new treatments and movement of complex needs for patients. The school has been successful in being awarded a knowledge transfer partnership by the National Technology Strategy Board to work with Sign Health, a national charity for the support of people with hearing impairment. This year, the School of Medicine and Dentistry has also seen another round of developments and progress. The MBBS full-time undergraduate medical programme received GMC approval in August of this year, which means that the university will shortly be opening a new medical school, and after satisfying a number of conditions, was given approval to commence recruitment on the 4th of November. The reputation of UCLan Bachelor of Dental Science graduates has been acknowledged by success in national recruitment processes where UCLan students were ranked second in the interview assessment process. Research within the school continues to be rewarded with publications in high-impact journals. You may remember recent research from the school that featured heavily in the national and international press, identifying a potential link between Alzheimer's and gum disease bacteria which enter the bloodstream when cleaning teeth, eating, or having dental treatment. Our Dental Care Professionals Group has produced its first graduates in clinical dental technology and Bachelors of Science in Dental Studies, alongside our well-established diploma in orthodontic therapy. Today is a very special day in the life of the university, as we are gathered together in public recognition and acclaim of the success and achievements of you, our students, who are to become graduates of the university. Gaining the awards we recognise today is difficult. It must be so. Few things in life of genuine value are easy, and success in higher education is far from easy. The university demands dedication, intellectual endeavour, and hard work from its students. So, to the students who today become graduates of the university, I extend my warmest congratulations on your achievements. I know that you will have learned a great deal in your time at UCLan about your chosen field of study. You have been taught by a dedicated group of academic staff, many of whom are international leaders in their field, and all of whom devote their professional lives to teaching, learning, and development of our students. You have also been supported by many highly dedicated and professional staff members who, whilst they do not often teach directly, have provided the service and infrastructure that has made your success at the university possible. Whilst you have learned much of academic and professional value that you will take forward into your future careers, I also hope that during your time with us you will have learned about living in a community that is very diverse. A community in which there are a wide range of different views and cultural values, and a community that is dedicated to analysing, reviewing, and sometimes challenging accepted wisdom. I hope you have done this whilst thinking about and clarifying your own views and values, and go into the world confident and tolerant, but willing to defend your values and stand up for those that are central to building a vibrant, inclusive, and civilised society. We take great pride in your achievements whilst you're here with us, but equally we take great pride in the achievements of our graduates, who have contributed enormously in a wide range of occupations and professions across the Northwest, the UK, and often internationally. I am confident that you will go out into the world and bring not only real economic and social benefit to yourselves, but also to the communities of which you will become members. Whatever you decide to do next, and wherever in the world you find yourselves, you are all our ambassadors. I hope at some stage you'll return to this, your university. But for now, on behalf of everybody at our university, very well done, and good luck for a happy and successful future. Thank you.
Chancellor, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Academic Board confers honorary fellowships on Adrian Conboy and John Mellor-Clark. Jane Rutt-Howard and Louise Cogan, the university orators, will deliver the citations.
Chancellor, few people in our region, and for that matter the country, have played such a pivotal role in the inception and development of their profession as Adrian Conboy. As a pioneer paramedic, he was instrumental in the creation of the service and the training of its people, now regarded as integral to NHS provision. Born in Worley, Lancashire, in 1958, Adrian still lives in the area with his wife Margaret and is, in every sense, a son of the Red Rose County. After training as a nurse, Adrian joined Lancashire Ambulance Service in 1979 and what was in those days termed an ambulance driver attendant. Ambulance staff in the early 80s had very limited training, but nonetheless displayed immense dedication, professionalism, and compassion. By the end of the decade, Adrian and other frontline ambulance colleagues formed a charity to improve their service delivery. Despite some resistance from some quarters of senior management, paramedic training commenced in Lancashire in 1989, and Adrian qualified the following year to become one of the first of 4 paramedics in the county. In 1995, he progressed to paramedic training and development manager with a remit to oversee paramedic training for what was formerly Lancashire Ambulance Service NHS Trust. Many paramedic programmes at that time were based on the needs of service providers as opposed to those of patients and the community. Added to this, Adrian's professional experience convinced him that paramedics had so much more to offer patients if given the right education and training. This motivated him to seek an academic award outside the normal parameters of paramedic practice, and he graduated in 2000 with a first-class bachelor's degree in practitioner leadership at Manchester Metropolitan University. This development proved life-changing, giving Adrian the courage to challenge practice, embrace lifelong learning, and progress patient pre-hospital care on a scale that could not have been imagined 20 years earlier. In 2004, he began working with the academic nursing staff at UCLan as part of a collaborative project involving Lancashire and Cumbria ambulance trusts. The aim was to develop the first ever BSc paramedic degree programme, which provided a curriculum that addressed patients' needs and developed a globally recognised standard. Just as importantly, it was the first paramedic degree to sit outside of the established paramedic awarding institution, Edexcel. The project was a great success, and Adrian later became an associate paramedic lecturer practitioner at UCLan. After the merger of the 4 North West Ambulance Services to form the North West Ambulance Service NHS Trust, NWAS, Adrian was promoted to the post of Professional Development Manager, responsible for student paramedic undergraduate education and practice across the region. His strategic task was to lead on the development and implementation of Level 5 and 6 collaborative paramedic programmes. In this role, Adrian exercised a profoundly positive influence on the practice and development of hundreds and possibly thousands of paramedics, an achievement of which he is justly proud. We often hear the phrase, leading by example, but nowhere is this concept more remarkably illustrated than in Adrian's managerial development, combined with his continued practice as an operational paramedic throughout his entire career, enabling him to directly witness the benefits to patients. In 2013, Adrian was awarded Trust Manager of the Year for the NWAS NHS Trust, along with the title of Honorary Fellow by the College of Paramedics for services to the paramedic profession. He retired after 39 years in healthcare, 34 of which were spent with the NHS ambulance services. Adrian's long and distinguished career is a peerless example of selfless commitment and unrelenting determination to serve his profession and his community here in Lancashire, in the North West, and indeed nationally. Chancellor, on behalf of the Academic Board, it is with great pleasure that I present Adrian Conboy for the award of Honorary Fellow of the University of Central Lancashire. Chancellor, rarely has an individual given as much of himself as John Mellor Clark to achieve international success in an academic field that directly benefits people with major psychological issues. Over many years, John has devoted unsurpassed energy, drive, and personal commitment to develop service quality assurance values for counselling and therapy. John was born in St Anne's-on-Sea in 1961. As one of 5 children, he grew up trying to learn how to cue for attention, a life skill that, he says, evades him to this day. Educated in Shropshire and Lancashire, John graduated from UCLan with a first-class psychology degree as a mature 28-year-old in 1989. He went on to win an MRC scholarship for an organisational psychology MSc at Sheffield University and obtained an MA with distinction in quality assurance in health and social care from Leeds University in 1998. 7 years later, the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy acknowledged John's contributions to his field with a special recognition award for the advancement of counselling and psychotherapy research. Today's Honorary Fellowship Award by UCLan is a source of great pride for John. However, he says it is also a catalyst for reflection on the sacrifices that ambitious individuals must make to achieve success. Despite his undisputed academic acclaim, John insists that he is not possessed of a natural academic intellect. Instead, he ascribes his accomplishments to coming from a family of self-made achievers. It was this background, he says, that drove him to work unstintingly hard to attain the high levels of academic recognition he set as his goals. Sadly, achieving these goals has taken considerable time and effort that ultimately saw the breakdown of 2 young marriages, adding to the parallel loss of both parents well before John reached 30. The dark depression that followed, combined with subsequent psychological challenges, resulted in John's eventual recognition that he needed professional therapeutic support, an insight that proved to be ironically career-forming. Shunning a traditional career as an organisational psychologist after his MSc, John began to build a professional identity around his personal experiences and pain. Initially, this involved working for Relate,
to research the quality of relationship counselling and psychosexual therapy service delivery. Spending 5 years metaphorically looking behind the therapy room door of thousands of clients enabled John to appreciate the potential of therapeutic support. This period also allowed him to understand the scale of the challenge involved in maximising the potential success of therapy for the greatest proportion of clients. John's next career step took him to the University of Leeds, where he used academic rigour to operationally define psychological therapy service quality. It was in the course of this work that John applied quality assurance values to improve the effectiveness of counselling and therapy. This resulted in the design of a national core measurement system that has now become a UK standard, as well as being translated and adopted widely across Europe. Today, John leads a small and unique team of expert therapy professionals and IT consultants who work to develop and deliver service quality improvements across the UK and Europe. He drives the team with characteristic passion for achieving the best possible outcomes from psychological therapy. As an individual, John enjoys regular adventures with 4 grown-up children, but struggles to build a rewarding relationship with a son with severe learning difficulties. He lives in a constant empathetic state with clients who present for therapy and speaks passionately of his personal experiences and applied reflections. Given time to himself, John loves the countryside, the arts, and journeys that lend themselves to reading a good paperback. Given time with loved ones, he enjoys cooking, stimulating mind games, and, he says, continuing to learn the quiet art of queuing for attention. Chancellor, on behalf of the Academic Board, it is with great pleasure that I present John Mellor Clark for the award of Honorary Fellow of the University of Central Lancashire.
Chancellor, the presentation of graduands and award holders will now take place.
On behalf of the Academic Board, I present those who have gained awards in the School of Health. The presentations will commence with awards gained by those who have engaged in research leading to significant original contribution to knowledge. For a thesis entitled An Interpretive Phenomenological Study of the Therapeutic Relationship Between Women Admitted to Eating Disorder Services and Their Care Workers, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy is awarded to Karen Margaret Wright. Master of Arts in Philosophy and Mental Health, Michael Anthony Atkinson. Master of Science in Advanced Practice, Health and Social Care, Lorraine Mary Bellis. Andrew William Kirk. Master of Science in Homeopathy, Sergei Nikolaevich Leonov. Master of Science in Nursing, Shabib Al-Busaidi. Lena Koshi Vinod. Master of Science in Personality Disorder, Research, Emma Sinclair Hall. Master of Science in Personality Disorder, Practice Development, Joanna Marie Miller. Siobhan Savage. Master of Science in Professional Practice, Nurse Practitioner, Kim Leach. Master of Science in Sexual Health Studies, Debbie Brittain Williams. Postgraduate Diploma in Integrative Psychotherapy, Matthew Wiggins. Postgraduate Diploma in Specialist Community Public Health Nurse, Health Visiting, Melanie Elaine Farman. Nicola Thompson. Postgraduate Certificate in Conflict and Violence Minimisation, Steve Paul McCarthy Grunwald. Postgraduate Certificate in Health and Social Care Education, Claire McClausland. Postgraduate Certificate in Primary Care, Mental Health Practice, Melanie Eves. Samantha Gilling. Thomas Edward Gilpin. Maria Malloy. Cheryl Nichols. Lisa Marie Slater. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Combined Studies, Anna Rachel Debbage. Bachelor of Arts in Combined Studies, Tarn Chapman. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Counselling and Psychotherapy Studies, Emily Brown. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Child and Adolescent Mental Health Practice, Anna Jane Cottam. Tammy Louise Goodwill. Fiona Marie James. Rachel Nunn. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Child Health, Catherine Teresa Cookson. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Community Specialist Practitioner, Community Nursing in the Home, Diane Jane Blackburn. Sarah Jane D. Deborah Pike. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Health and Social Care, Louise Chu. Gemma Louise Haydock. Michael Hughes, Donna Jane Christensen, Daryl Massey, Sana Patel, Sinead Smythe, Lauren Spear, Malusi Zarbi, Bachelor of Science with Honours in Midwifery, Tracy Alison Ball, Nusabi Imtiaz Bamji, Jennifer Craddock, Elizabeth Green, Emma Hurtley, Kirsty Marie Heimers, Amy Daniel Lysett, Rebecca McCrimmon, Chantel Claire McGovern, Erica Andreas Mlawezi, Shirley May Lottie Nelson, Jessica Ann Parkinson, Mohammed Hassan Razul, Antonia Sigora Walker, Rachel Elizabeth Ward, Bachelor of Science in Neonatal Practice, Julie Ann Hobson, Laura Jane Jones, Bachelor of Science with Honours in Nursing, Joanna Amelia Borowska, Emma Louise Davis Evans, Bachelor of Science with Honours in Nursing E-Learning, Rahab Gideon Dadik, Bachelor of Science with Honours in Pre-Registration Nursing Adult, Nafisha Louise Arden, Laura Jane Ashcroft, Melissa Louise Barker, Ella Baxter, Denise Bennett, Lisa Billington, Yasmin Blako, Katie Blezard, Nicola Louise Bond, Rachel Alexandra Brangan, Tracy Brennan, Shabana Bripotra, Melanie Brighty, Lauren Bully, Amy Burke. Siobhan Sylvie Bine. Danielle Callaghan. David Carter. Madeline Carter. Nicola Jane Caulfield. Betsabi Regina Sharif Barros. Emily Clark. Stephanie Clark. Kelly Helen Clegg. Chelsea Louise Komisky. Rebecca Francis Cornell. Rachel Cornish. April Louise Craddock. Rachel Cross. Sophie Cudworth. Emma Louise Dickinson. Michelle Dorrington. Michael Douglas. Edmund James Dunbar. Melissa Fitzmaurice. Vicky Fleming. Victoria Fleming. Victoria Flowers. Sarah Louise Carrigan. Shawnee Elizabeth Godwin. Loretta Grant. Stephanie Green. Danielle Grundy. Rachel Louise Grundy. Adam Hadfield. Anisha Hafiji. Rachel Hall. Kia Jane Hanrahan. Francesca Ardisti. Yvonne Hare. Jenny Lou Harper. Gemma Ann Hawkins. Nicola Hawkins. Amy Heller. Natasha Hayes. Gemma Higgins. Elizabeth Hodgkinson. Charlotte Holland. Samantha Mary Holmes. Hayley Hudson. Emma Huntington. Adele Jack. Chelsea Jackson. Katijay Joji. Anna Marie Jones. Ricky Jones. Charlotte King. Fiona Elizabeth Jane Lang. Jessica Lee. Stephanie Latham. Claire Lee. Ruth Leyland. Rachel Lowe. Gemma Mandel. Rianne McCleary. Reese McCleary. Michelle McIlvery. Patrick McGowan. Bernadette McLaughlin. Harriet Elizabeth McLean. Tara Kate McLaughlin. Yasmin Tara Mulhall. Amy Charlotte Mudge. Annabelle Newman. Anne Novak Briggs. Jacqueline Poulton. Luke Rayner. Gemma Julia Rickard. Olivia Rachel Riley. Julie Rogers. Kylie Salisbury. Jessica Louise Scott. Giselle Sandrine Mambote. Lauren Rebecca Sharples. Catherine Helen Singleton. Michaela Louise Stacey. Nicola Steed. Lucinda Stein. Sarah Stevenson. Jane Sudds. Shelley Swift. Helen Taylor. Hannah Rose Turner. Rakaya Yucadia. Barbara Onsworth. Hamida Valley. Lindsay Ward. Anna Watson. Victoria Weirden. Luke Webster. Rachel Wielden. Amy Elizabeth Williams. Emma Williams. Sophie Wilson. Caroline Jane Wynne. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Pre-Registration Nursing Child, Stephanie Ludlame. Kylie Dawn Manning. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Pre-Registration Nursing Children, Jennifer Agnon. Jade Barlow. Laura Barnes. Caroline Bowen. Leona Catlow. Amelia Conway. Jessica Cooper. Fiona Cunliffe. Rebecca Draysher. Holly Ennis. Rebecca Harrison. Amy Jane Hughes. Amana Iqbal. Gillian Rabina Jansen. Catherine Ann Jones. Ellis Jones. Catherine Leatherbarrow. Armapreet Kaur Malhi. Fahana Mahmood. Nasima Patel. Kirsty Jean Reed. Claire Louise Rigby. Sonia Victoria Smith. Jodie Marie Southern. Amy Louise Stevenson. Janine Stevens. Sanab Sumra. Catherine Jane Swan. Hayley Jane Turner. Katie Ellen Turner. Kirsty Marie Onsworth. Nicola Varley. Rachel Wormsley. Zoe Louise Wilcox. Shauna Claire Wilson. Rebecca Wood. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Pre-Registration Nursing, Mental Health, Charlotte Ann Armstrong. Sarah Jane Aspinall. Charlotte Louise Beline. Charlotte Butler. Lisa Ann Cox. Jennifer Louise Dighton. Jennifer is also awarded the Priory Hospital Preston Nursing Award. Amanda Haley Disley. Natasha Bronya Ellen Koziski. Catherine Lane. Rachel Lomax. Tracy Lowe. Marie Maddock. Natalie Mayer. Charlotte Nichols. Jodie Rigby. Abigail Louise Shepherd. Laura Jane Taylor. Katie Elizabeth Thompson. Adrian Truebody. Megan Woodcock. Kyle Thomas John Worthington. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Professional Practice, Teresa Elizabeth Aldridge. Jinx George. Beverly Ann Gerard. Helen Jane Lawrence. Sean Nichol. Alison O'Hare. Victoria Louise Ramsden. Namala Sam. Abigail Sinsara. Teresa Wilson. Amanda Jane Wright. Bachelor of Science in Professional Practice, Charlene McGowan. James John Whitehead. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Psychosocial Mental Health Care, Marie Teresa Layton. Munzinge Mamfenduka Moyo. Theodosi Momhim Pundu. Alan Stephen O'Connor. Nicola Jane Stewart. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Specialist Community Public Health Nurse Health Visiting, Rebecca Claire Barron. Jennifer Bayliss. Elsa Jane Dollard Miller. Sharon Martin. Catherine Philpott. Kerry Riley. Michelle Thompson. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Specialist Community Public Health Nurse School Nursing, Beverly Gardner. Lisa Maria Joliffe. Diploma of Higher Education in Operating Department Practice, Leanne Kirsty Bainbridge. Alison Barr. Michael Bowers. Chantel Gemma Buckley. Mark Cannon. Danielle Caper. Catherine Foote. Sophie Ann Gibbons. Rebecca Kelly. Samantha Rigg. Deborah Ellen Smith. Elizabeth Sudell. Kate Turner. Damien White. Julie Whiting. Diploma of Higher Education in Paramedic Practice, Katie Joanne Appleby. Julie Louise Boyle. Mark Burgess. Jill Marion Sharnock. Philip Trevor Derry. Gillian Despard. Gillian Fairhurst. Scott Thomas Brawley Garrity. Felicity G. James Gordon Gorey. Stephen Harrison. Simon Henriques. Thomas Kirk Hodgson. Kurt Kantzman. Lois Elizabeth Newton. Eloise Francis Pelham. Ian Stewart Pickup. Daniel Platt. Winsome Erica Reynolds. Adam Jude Rhodes. Emma Jane Roberts. Chloe Louise Russell. Jack Andrew Shaw. Chris Sherrington. Natalie Jane Taburn. Philip Christopher Waring. Claire Louise Welch. Alexandra Wilkinson. Diploma of Higher Education in Pre-Registration Nursing, Mental Health, Karen Louise Armstrong. Helen Blundell White. Victoria Blundell White. Anna Broad. Richard Brooks. Stephen John Burgess. Kelly Marie Cartmel. Heather Cherry. Nathan Ross Connor. Sian Rebecca Crosby. Gillian Curry. Charlotte Durham. Lindsay Fisher. Jenna Claire Fishwick. Rain Gibson. Natalie Gornall. Lindsay Golding. Elizabeth Mary Graves. Yvette Griffin. Emma Lee Hall. Vicky Holden. Jolie Marie Hothesall. Lisa Johnson. Anthony Johnston. Helen Jolly. Katarzyna Kaminska-Szpulak. Olivia Kay. Vanessa Jane Keeley. Gemma Louise Kendall. Annika Leeds. Rachel Mansfield. Russell Moretta. Sarah Jane Rankin. Anuska Sejahan. Gillian Louise Starkey. Carly Whittam. Jessica Winard. Amy Wycherley. Diploma of Higher Education in Pre-Registration Nursing Adult, Chloe Anders. Marion Armour. Katie Baker Wardle. Kimberly Ann Bell. Cheryl Bent. Joanna Elizabeth Boosfield. Mary Catherine Boyle. Jessica Brady. Rebecca Hannah Brady. Kira Burton. Michelle Elizabeth Carlin Turner. Magdalena Anna Silibali. Michelle Elizabeth Copeland. Nicola Jane Dalgleish. Anna Jane Duxbury. Claire Elwood. Emma Claire Ayres. Jeanette Farnworth. Peter Farrington. Amy Laura Fenton. Lisa J. Fox. Leah Gosling. Francesca Hall. Catherine Hardman. Catherine Helps. Lindsay June Heron. Stephanie Hall. Kaylee Howard. Catherine Louise Hughes. Kirsty Jones. Rachel Kelly. Janie Lee Kelsall. Danielle Elizabeth Lamprecht. Abigail Littler. Christina Sophie Lupton. Louise Madison. Katie Matthews. Keely Danielle McFarlane. Stacey McMullen. Stacey Malarkey. Danielle Diane Morrison. Karen Murphy. Maureen Ann Musk. Catherine Openshaw. Fiona Denise Alton. Emily Mary Pierce. Ruth Pennington. Claire Pickering. Anne-Marie Redman. Nicola Rickwood. Kimberly Schofield. Kerry Sharples. Rebecca Stober. Laura Louise Taylor. Annika Trikovic. Amanda Turner. Diane Tweedy. Sarah Louise Vickers. Caroline Walsh. Angela Waterworth. Nicola Wilkinson. Babylin Williamson. Leanne Heather Wilson. Carly Wright. Diploma of Higher Education in Pre-Registration Nursing Child, Fiona Brooks. Elizabeth Hooper. Foundation degree in Arts in Health and Social Care, Natalie Ann Derbyshire. Foundation degree in Science in Health and Social Care Rehabilitation, Ashley Louise Whitworth. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards from the School of Health.
On behalf of the Academic Board, I present those who've gained awards in the School of Medicine and Dentistry. The presentations will commence with awards gained by those who have engaged in research leading to a significant original contribution to knowledge. For a thesis entitled, Carbon Nanotubes in Cancer Therapy, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy is awarded to Banu Abdallah. For the Master of Science in Oral Surgery, Alice Harding. The Bachelor of Science with Honours in Dental Studies for Dental Care Professionals, Jennifer Elizabeth Bacon. Myra Crean. Sarah Jane Haig. Lynn Little. Helen Elizabeth Minery. Lee Ann Randell. Carolyn Renton. Ruth Singleton Evans. Lindsay Jane Webb. Jennifer Lynn Yousaf. For the award of Diploma of Higher Education in Clinical Dental Technology, Andrew Margrave Brooke. Mark Joseph Greaves. Darren John Kelsey. Agatha Marta Paulak. Adrian John Rowlings. Stephen Andrew Taylor. Christian Wibberley. John Wibberley. John is also awarded the School Prize for Outstanding Academic Achievement. Duncan John Wood. Gillian Wood. For the award of Certificate of Higher Education in Orthodontic Therapy, Amy Louise Barron. Sharon Hill. Keely Shepherd. Lisa Taylor. And Amy Louise Westrope. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards from the School of Medicine and Dentistry.
Chancellor, the presentations are completed. I call on Adrian Conboy, Honorary Fellow of the University of Central Lancashire, to respond on behalf of those awarded today.
Chancellors, podium, distinguished guests, graduates, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by saying thank you for those kind words and stating how proud, grateful and conversely uncomfortable I am at having this award bestowed upon me by the University of Central Lancashire. So much of my professional achievements could not have been achieved without the help and support of so many others. So a big thank you to those that nominated me, especially to Robin Richardson and his team. To graduates, I offer my congratulations. I know how hard you have worked and the challenges that you must have faced. It's good to see family and friends supporting you here today, and I am aware of the importance that they have on the outcome of your courses and awards and the sacrifices that they have made too. As health professionals, you will face expectations in the future that I, as a paramedic, had not to contend with. Nonetheless, things will remain the same. And so it is likely you will work on social hours, endure late finishes, and work over the festive periods. Now, some 11 years ago, I walked through the doors of the university campus here at UCLan with little concept of what was to follow. Naively, I saw the university as a doorway for augmenting what we already had as training for paramedics within the ambulance service. However, it soon became apparent that the small academic team led by Robin Richardson within the School of Health had more ambitious plans for paramedic education. Suffice to say, in those early days, I felt adopted by UCLan, and like a child, I recoiled at the complex rules and standards, having the odd sulk and tantrum, but conversely, I was lured by the toy shop with its amazing learning facilities and the potential to develop practice. Ironically, it was those same quality standards that became so pivotal to my role in later years. But don't let the Harry Potter attire here fool you. There are no magic wands hidden up their sleeves. The work that is done in the rooms of this university requires much dedication, knowledge and skill. As was stated, ultimately, I was with the North West Ambulance Service. However, most of my employment was with the Legacy Trust Lancashire Ambulance Service, which is headquarters just up the road here on the A6. In those times, paramedic training and the NHS Ambulance Service organisational goals were symbiotic, with direction mainly in the hands of the organisation, rather than the profession, or indeed patients. Nonetheless, with limited resources, the Ambulance Service did a great job, and I look back with much fondness on those times. However, healthcare is changing at a pace, and as can be seen from recent events such as the Francis report and the measures announced by the Health Secretary, more than ever, we should critically consider the relationships that exist between professionals, employing organisations and the community. In the North West, I believe paramedics are fortunate to have commissioned educational structures as well as other health professionals, with managed partnerships relative to education. Surprisingly, this does not exist in the majority of other regions in the United Kingdom relative to paramedic practice. And this can be fragmented with the potential to destabilise workforce development and the quality of care. Additionally, the scopes of practices for paramedics and indeed other health professionals in the NHS are increasing yearly, and I believe this will necessitate the re-establishment for paramedic practice a 3-year degree programme. I was fortunate to work for a forward-thinking clinical education team headed by John Gillespie, and I have much to thank John and his team for. But having served such a long time in the NHS and being a keen yachtsman, you must forgive me for the next advice metaphor that I'm going to deliver to you. And it's about the NHS. Our NHS is like a large ship. It's not easy to crew or manoeuvre. The captains and the weather can be changeable, and it endures regular refits too. Nonetheless, your NHS healthcare works in challenging waters and is something to be proud of. And if you wish to crew the ship, then the graduates here, you must learn as much as you can about the sea, your passengers, your profession, and most importantly, yourselves. Do not work from a single deck level and wait for learning to come to you. Rather look out on the horizon and seek learning for yourself, thus better anticipating the swell and developing into a competent and embracing practitioner. As a paramedic, one often works in professional isolation with little, if any, direct clinical support, in circumstances that are mostly routine, but at times provoking, emotional and critical. For me, it was the kindness, camaraderie and humour that I experienced from my ambulance service colleagues that gave me the confidence in practice and the pride in my profession. This is something health professionals rarely speak of, rather we feel in a hushed bond, and I truly hope it continues to be the case. Be proud to be a health professional, but don't be hierarchical about it. Compassion and understanding, often unseen, unreported, remains pivotal to all that you do. As graduates, you now have a duty to propagate this, be critical of your own emotional care, and importantly, know when practice is unacceptable. To care and to be caring are not the same thing. In conclusion, I would like to thank my wife, Margaret, a recently retired midwife, for her abiding support. Nearly 40 years ago, we sat next to one another in nursing school, and over the years, as well as being a source of distraction, has always shared our trials and tribulations as one. I must also thank my mother too. Mental health nursing was her chosen profession, and it was her compassion for others which persuaded me to enter healthcare nearly 40 years ago. Thank you.
I now call on John Mellor Clark to make his response.
Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, fellow members of the platform, orators, interpreters, graduating students, distinguishing guests, and anyone listening who'd be more comfortable being referred to as others present. This honorary fellowship award is a great honour, and I'm humbled to be in receipt of it. Thank you, and sincerely, thank you. Thank you also for the counselling colleagues who nominated me for this fellowship, and for my guests who have travelled far today to share the experience with me. I'm here today in front of you for two reasons. Firstly, with some sad irony because of personal failure, as the orator has already shared with you earlier. But the second reason I'm standing here is because I've been really nosy. Not just inquisitively nosy, but glass against the wall nosy. And what I've been nosy about is what happens behind a therapy room door. I mean, you have a problem, you think about it a lot, and you try to solve it by thinking your way through it. If that doesn't work, you generally now try not to think about it. But thoughts can be intrusive, and they just pop into your head when you least expect them, so that doesn't work either. Now, perhaps you think about something you can do to avoid thinking about your problem. Perhaps you use a drink, and then another, and so on, and that's a pretty good way to help you to forget a problem for a short while. But then, in reality, the booze wears off. You wake up in the middle of the night with a head like a Dyson Joule Cyclone washing machine. Now you've not got just your original dirty laundry sloshing around to keep you awake for hours, but you've got extra laundry because you're worrying about the fact that you drank too much. And guess what? Full of problems and guilt, try as you might, you just can't find the off switch, and the laundry goes round and round for the rest of the night, stopping you from sleeping. Does that sound familiar? Well, luckily the therapy world seems to have a vast catalogue of methods they use to help describe alternative, creative ways to deal with your problems instead of enduring too many Dyson nights. Here's my guide to problem management skills that may eventually lead you to the therapist chair. And I confess I'm a little concerned for the challenge I just set for the poor interpreter. Let's start with GCSE level methods. There's denial, dissociation, compartmentalization. Now the A-level methods, trivialization, intellectualization, rationalization, great words. Now we're up to the degree level, things that you might have tried yourself. Projection, provocation, fantasy, and displacement. Okay, PhD. My partner's just told me I've achieved PhD methods. I'll give you an example. I'm moving house and the moval men arrive late. When they do finally arrive, I smile, I make them a brew, I suppress my quiet rage, and I collect an anger stamp to put in my book. Halfway through the morning, my son drops a glass that holds sentimental value. Again, I suppress a rage and add a stamp. The day goes on, the removals take longer than expected and are late leaving for the new house. I add a stamp. The traffic's heavier than usual on the way to the new home because it's now the school run. I add a stamp. A bus breaks down in the lane 100 metres from my new home and blocks the road for 20 minutes. I add a stamp. And then, through the door of the new home to my partner, I walk an inferno of repressed temper. And my lovely partner reminds me I was meant to pick up milk. I explode. I offload my whole stamp book collection by reacting to the criticism at a level that's totally disproportionate to being reminded that I've forgotten to buy the milk. Any other PhDs in the room? But this is just a glimpse into some of the tools discussed behind that therapy room door. I and a team of dedicated people measure the effectiveness of what goes on behind that door when people seek help. But in all seriousness, not just because we're nosy, but because we have respect. We respect people who have problems and who are brave enough to come and sit in a therapy room chair and try to articulate a problem to a stranger. It's not easy. In the NHS, around 50% of people who phone to make appointments for therapy never turn up. Additionally, 50% of those who actually do turn up never finish the journey of therapy and drop out before it ends. That's how tough it is, and that's why I and my colleagues respect the client's journey. But as much as we respect the therapy client, we also respect the therapists, and we respect that even more. Imagine what it must be like to sit in front of people with problems 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week. I couldn't do it, and I'm constantly amazed at people that can. The journey that brings me here to stand in front of you today is a simple one. How do we get more people to phone for an appointment, turn up, engage with their therapist, find the strength to tell the story, find the hope to come for an appropriate dose of treatment, and without leaving early, ultimately develop the motivation and the courage to change. It's a journey that's taken 25 years to understand to date, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be occupied for another 25 years at least. Why? Because in 50 years of therapy research undertaken in the profession, we've invented over 2,000 different questionnaires, 400 brand-named psychological therapies, 300 descriptions of problems that people bring to therapy. But we've not yet managed to improve the outcomes of therapy by even 10%. That's why I think I'll be in my journey with my colleagues for another 25 years at least. So finally, what piece of advice can I offer you today, graduates, based on the challenges of my mistakes and the pleasures of my therapeutic journey? Well, a famous singer once said, and I quote, "Often, people attempt to live their lives backwards. They try to earn more money in order to try and do more of what they feel will make them happier." The way it actually works is the reverse. You must, first of all, be who you really are, then do what you really want to do in order to have what you really want. Distinguished ladies, gentlemen, graduating students, I hope you leave here today to continue to be who you really are, or become who you really are. I hope you leave here today to continue to do what you need to do, or learn what you need to do. And I hope you leave here today to continue to have what you want, or begin to carefully plan what you want. If you do, then perhaps, unlike me, you can live a life that avoids the therapist's chair and my ear at your door. Remember, if you do happen to have a therapy appointment sometime in the future, if you arrive late, you're anxious. If you arrive early, you're anxious. If you arrive late, you're antisocial. And finally, if you arrive on time, you're an obsessive compulsive. Thank you very much indeed.
This is, of course, a day of great celebration for everyone here, and we need to celebrate in an appropriate way. We have a tradition. Could I please ask all the graduates to stand? And if you can take off your mortarboards. I think this will be a great relief to some of you due to the precariousness I have noted. I'm going to ask you to launch your mortarboards up into the air. not nearly as high as the amazing achievements that you have been awarded for today. But do remember, you are going to have to catch said mortarboard in order to return it at the end of this ceremony. So, on a count of 3, I would like you graduates to launch your mortarboards. And at the same time, I want everybody to cheer 3 times. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip. You may now sit.
Okay, everybody. Has anybody failed to recover? No? Right. Well, as we bring this afternoon's ceremony to a close, let me first of all thank our new honorary fellows, Adrian Conboy and John Mellor-Clark, for contributing so well to the occasion. Thank you to both of you. I'd just like to add again my personal congratulations to all of you, the award holders. And just to remind you that the subject knowledge that you've gained during your time here at the university will serve you well in meeting many of the challenges that lie ahead. However, we hope that your time at the university has also given you something more. We'd like to think that you've developed a desire for learning and a recognition that learning is a lifetime activity. In the ever-changing world in which we now live, nobody can expect to acquire sufficient knowledge in just one period of study. So we hope that periodically you will want to return to study and to update your knowledge and your skills, and that you will choose to return here to study at this, your university. We now need to thank a number of people for making this such a memorable ceremony. Of course, all the staff of the university who've contributed to making today a success, thank all of you very much indeed. And to the Leyland Bank for providing the fanfare trumpeters. To the organist, Edward Ruckman, and to the Red Cross people who are here in case we need them, to Preston City Council and the staff here at the Guildhall for their help in providing this splendid venue today. And finally, my thanks to the interpreters, Barbara Duffy and Kath Murray. Thank you very much, all of you indeed. In conclusion, thank you all for coming today. We hope you've enjoyed the ceremony just as much as we have, and you'll be able to stay for some refreshments in the university before you leave. And later, as you travel home, we wish you a safe journey. Thank you very much.
Would you all please stand for the national anthem? now like to invite you all, graduates and guests, to make your way back to the university for a celebratory reception in the Foster Building. Gowns can be left at the Foster Building after the event. But could I ask that you all remain seated until the platform party has left the hall? Thank you.